What's up, guys? It's Lunatic, coach of the Brookhaven Bandits, and we're here with the draft analysis for Season 7 of the PWC. Um, I don't know how to transition into this. This was, holy shit, this draft had so many snipes. Every round, there was at least one big snipe for someone. It was crazy. And very interesting teams that were drafted too. A lot of unexpected things, a lot of unexpected things being drafted and unexpected things that went undrafted. So, for example, Jirachi went undrafted. Mega Gallade didn't make it till the final round, which some hype was building up behind it towards the end of last season. So I was like, all right, that shit's gonna go early. So I'm not gonna try and get it. I'm just gonna focus on what I'm trying to plan, and not think about incorporating because I think it'll get snagged. Fucking went into the last round. What else didn't? Shit, this is. What other crazy? Extra Drill didn't get drafted. Gengar went undrafted. Latias. Terrakion. There's some crazy things that went undrafted. Let me look at the megas. Honestly, a lot of megas were taken. This season, most of the megas this season are tier 1. There were 2 tier 2s and then 1 tier 4. Everything else is tier 1. So that's different. Also, I took a tier 1 mega. Insane. Well, I did take Mega Venusaur before, but usually I play with lower tier megas. So, let's just start this shit off. I had a draft plan. And I know some people aren't really into draft planning because if you don't plan, you can't get sniped. Someone like Colton, he does him, I do me. But I have a draft plan. And that shit basically went out the window. So I had a nice and I think a balanced team going on. And the mon that I was building around, which I did still end up first picking, was Kartana. Kartana went undrafted last season, and the season before that, Colton had it and he dropped it after week 2, I want to say. It was really early in the season. He dropped it. I'm like, this bitch has potential. Let's fucking go. 109 speed. Pretty good move pool. And bitch hurts like a truck. That shit has 181 attack. I think it's 181. Mega Heracross has 185. Except Kartana has actual speed. So I was like, yes, this bitch, let's go. So Kartana. Then my second pick, there were tier changes, and one of the tier changes that I did vote for it, unbiasedly. I think it's in a weird spot where it kind of belongs between tier 1 and 2, but it did drop to 2. And I was like, I want this bitch. And that mon's Conkeldurr. Conkeldurr's a fucking monster. This gen, the Guts mons kind of got a buff because of the burn nerf. You take less damage from burn. Conkeldurr's a good mon. It gets Guts, Iron Fist, and Sheer Force. 3 really fucking good abilities. And it's also slow. The team that I planned to draft was fairly fast, so I wanted a few slow mons, so even someone were to try to counter me with Trick Room or something, which is literally what I did against Colton 2 seasons ago, when he did have that Kartana. He had a fast team, and I was like, I'm just going to bring Trick Room, and then he can't do shit. It was kind of a weird plan where very fast things, very slow things, and not a lot in the middle. So base 60 to 70, or even maybe up to 80, there was nothing in there. So it was kind of weird, but that's what I was going with. Next round. Next round is where I would say I fucked up in terms of my plan. Um, one thing I was struggling with, like my plan was not a concrete plan. Like I need all these mons. It was some mons were very secure, and then others were kind of loose because of course snipes happen, and also maybe there was a mon that I didn't notice before that fit better, something like that. So my electric type was something I was struggling to find. I had Rotom Heat on the plan, but I was like, because it was also acting as my fire type, and I didn't want it to be my fire type. Excuse me. So I was like, okay, let's move some stuff around. So I did move some stuff, and because some electric types were being taken at this point, let's see what Tapu Koko had been taken, Circuitry was taken. Sorry, Thunder Eye was taken, Jolteon was taken, Zapdos was taken. So I was like, okay, electric types are kind of going. And like Jolteon being a tier 3 taken around 2, like people might start gunning for the lower tier ones too. And I was like, alright, I want a good electric type, and I don't know specifically what I want. But I wanted something that could take on Celesteela. But Celesteela at this point was drafted already. And Celesteela is such a bulky bullshit mon. So, and it doesn't have very many good counters. Like electric types are good for it, but that aren't weak to ground. So something like Electros or like Rotoms, because electric type kind of walls it aside from Earthquake. So what I ended up doing, I picked up Thunderous Therian. Thunderous Therian, good mon. I have not used it. I've used Thunderous Incarnate, I think, but that was a long time ago. It is 101 speed, so it does outpace the 100s, and it has base like 140 special attack, so that's pretty crazy. However, there was a mon on my team that I needed more than Thunderous. I could have picked up just a like basic tier 5 electric type if I really was pushed that far back and just like dealt with it. But like, I don't really like doing that. Like the electric types that are literally T-Bolt, Volt Switch, HP Ice, and then I don't know. But like if they have to run that all the time, I'm not a fan. That's why something like Healerless is cool. T-Bolt, Hyper Voice, get stuff like Surf, Focus Blast. It has like a move pool. So I didn't want to do that, and I let that get in the way. Because I wanted Starmie. Starmie was a mon that also fell to tier 2 after voting. And it was taken from me after I picked Thunderous Therian. And, you know, in the moment, I thought, you know, I should take Dundee now, but once it got sniped, I was like, wait, I didn't need Dundee that bad. I should have got Starmie, then taken Dundee after. But oh well. All it did was just fuck up my entire plan. And you might be saying like, well, how does, you know, one mon and you're not building around it? Because I had a backup for Starmie, and that backup was Tentacruel. Tentacruel was picked up by the next person, and then I was like, well, shit. What do I do now? Like, what? Okay, and then I just redid my whole plan, and I was doing it like along the way. The plan, I did not make the plan to fit all my picks. I put it until like round 8. So the last 3 rounds, I had some I don't know words, but like I didn't have to stress too much about picks. Because I had wiggle room or whatever with those last ones. So the Starmie and Tentacruel were taken, and that upset me quite a bit. And so then I was like, alright, I'm gonna try drafting other things that I was like, for sure I want these, and then I'll worry about getting my water type later and hazard control, whatever. I'll wait for that later. So my next round pick was Nidoking. Nidoking's something I really wanted to use. It gives me a rocker and T-Spiker, and also something that just hits so fucking hard with the Life Orb Sheer Force. You don't even need a Life Orb, just Sheer Force. So much damage. It's based only like 85 special attack, and like I want to say about 105 physical attack. But because of Sheer Force, holy shit, does it hurt! It gets so many moves that work with Sheer Force, and like a lot of special moves. So it gets like the elemental shit, Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, I believe, and then Sludge Wave, Earth Power does a ton. And on the physical end, it gets like Poison Jab, Rock Slide, yeah, that I don't really know. That just showed like its special move was a lot bigger, but I really wanted to use Nidoking, and this is where my team kind of transitions to something I did not plan. So next up is where I pick up my Mega. Now my original plan, I had Mega Pidgeot. I thought Mega Pidgeot would be fun. Very high speed stat at 121. And then I had like my plan, Mega Pidgeot at 121, Starmie at 115. Then I have like Kartana at 109. I have another Mon at 110. So I had speed tiers like that. And that shit went out the window. So next up, I was like, well, I'm building around Kartana. So let me try and get stuff that will help Kartana. Kartana is weak to fire and fighting. And that's it. You know what's good with that? Mega Altaria. Mega fucking Altaria. It resists the fire and the fighting. And Mega Altaria is also really hard to prep for. It has a lot of setup. It gets DD, it gets agility, it gets Cotton Guard. I remember someone saying it got Calm Mind. I have not seen that run, but if it does, that's another option. It could be physical, special, it's bulky. Fucking Pixelate with Hyper Voice or Return or Body Slam. This bitch gets Roost. Like, I faced Mega Altaria before. Holy shit, they're so annoying. Yeah, I want to break shit. Honestly, this draft went from the kind of balance that I normally draft. This shit just became hyper offense, and I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm drafting this shit. Give me my types. Give me my like little hazard control, and I'll fuck it. So next round, this was something on the original plan, but I was debating whether I wanted it. I had been looking at Salazzle, but I really wanted Nidoking, so Salazzle didn't make the cut. Also, I think someone took it at this point. Yeah, someone took it. So I was like, I already had Nidoking, so I was like, whatever. And that's Darmanitan. Darmanitan, base 95 speed. That speed tier helps me with what I had so far here. Because Nidoking, Mega Altaria is 80, Nidoking is 85. Darmanitan goes 95, and then Dundee T at 101, Kartana 109. That's kind of good. Darmanitan, another Sheer Force user. I have 3 fucking Sheer Force users. I didn't realize that until after the draft. I thought I only had 2, Nidoking and Darm. And I was like, oh shit, Conkeldurr gets the 2. Oh, we're just breaking shit. That's literally what this draft became. We're gonna break shit. But we're also gonna spin some stuff. We're gonna spin with my Silk Scarf Rapid Spinner in Komala. Komala was my next round pick. We have in our Discord chat we have. Well, shout out first off. I'm not editing that. First of all, shout out to Shiny or Jacob or whatever the 15 million names he has for setting up the Discord server we have now. It is much more organized. It incorporates the main league and the D League in a chat where we can talk among each other, and then we have our own separate chats. It's so good. Shiny has done so much. Holy shit! He set up the dock too. It's insane. But a certain someone, when I drafted Kamala, he's like, that thing's shit. I was like, well, okay. That was the end of that. I don't give a fuck what people say. Bitch, I drafted Articuno. You think I give a fuck about anything? Kamala is a cool mon. It is slow. It's not insanely bulky, but Comatose is a really cool ability. Kamala is technically always asleep, so he cannot be affected by status moves. So you can't Toxic it, no Will-O-Wisp, no T-Waves, none of that shit. That also means if he comes in on like Toxic Spikes, he will not get poisoned. Boom, spin. That's a good move pool. Like, holy shit, I didn't realize it. Like Kamala's typically run like spin, return, U-turn, and then maybe like Earthquake. But he gets a couple things. I don't know how often I'll be able to run that because just with the pacing of my team being so just hyper offense, I don't know if Kamala will ever really get to do something like that. But I'm gonna try. I see potential in the little koala in his log. Next up, this bitch was on the plan too. Because I was like, yo, you know what's really good with, even my old plan it was still pretty offensive. It wasn't as hyper offensive as this is, but it was pretty offensive. Like, I need spikes. Because, oh boy. I just, like, a lot of the time you just need that little bit of chip to score those KOs or for a sweep. I picked up Frostlass. Frostlass I used a long time ago, like, this month's shit. But I was bad back then, so what did I know? But what do I know now? Ice typing. I mentioned in my season recap, like, ice typing is a good offensive type. There's not a lot of good ice type. Like, there's like Weavile Mamo. And then you have to think for the next one. Kieran Black. Okay, fair. That's 3. And then if you're thinking about an ice type, you kind of have to wonder for a little while. You're like, okay, regular Kieran. There's, well, Sneasel and Piloswine. Those are just like the babies of the other two. Not to say that they're not good, but like, okay, what else? I'm doing this right now, like I'm trying to think of other ice types. Of course, I think Articuno, because, you know, that's me. There's Crabominable, which... there's like Avalugg. Oh, Alolan Ninetales. I mean, that's fair. Alolan Ninetales. And then, of course, Alolan Sandslash. They're like Beartic. Why am I still doing this? Frostlass gets spikes, Ice type and Ghost type, so I have a spin blocker. Get shit like Destiny Bond. I know the D-Bond nerf, but, you know, fuck whatever. Get some utility moves. It gets Curse Body. That could come in handy. Next mon, I was like, this whole time, like, what fucking water type do I want? And I remember telling Geo last season, like, yo, next season I'm gonna draft an offensive Fire Water Grass core. And I was like, no, that's be fucking dumb. Because that's not the point of it. My grass type's Kartana, and my fire type's Darmanitan. So, offensive water type, let's go. I pick up Sharpedo. And these last 3 picks, I was juggling between a couple of things. The reason I went with Sharpedo is because it has a usable special stat. Looking at my team, I had a lot of physical attackers. Kartana, Conkeldurr, Darmanitan. Mega Altari is a mix. Nidoking is kind of a mix. And then Thundee special attacker. Kamala is not the biggest threat, and Frostlass also is not the biggest threat. So Sharpedo is like, alright, it's also, that would also mean all my Fire Water Grass core would all be physical attackers. So I didn't want that either. Sharpedo gives me the option of running special if I wanted to. It also gives me a dark type, which is something I struggle with putting into my draft sometimes. And it gets speed boost. It has good coverage. Holy shit. Does it have really good coverage? Maybe coverage is not the word. Move pool. Because in terms of I didn't look into coverage per se, but its move pool is pretty big. It gets the Waterfall, Crunch, Ice Fang, Earthquake, Aqua Jet, Psychic Fangs now. Get Psychic Fang. Off the top of my head, I don't know what else. What else? Like Sharpedo's cool. Um, it does have the same speed as Darm, but because of speed boost, kind of not the same. So next up, my next pick was something I didn't think I'd be drafting like this early in my like competitive league life. Cause I was like, this mon, I feel like it takes some skill to use, but on the other hand, it kind of doesn't. Because my team's so hyper offense, I was like, okay, people could try to take advantage of that. If they get one of their sweepers set up, they could, just sweep me because I don't have a lot of bulk on this team. And what's the mon that best dissuades setup sweepers? It's a little blob Ditto. Ditto also would allow me to potentially copy a bulky mon on my opponent's team that maybe walls itself or something. Like, Ditto doesn't always have to be a Scarfer. But yeah, I had an idea of a tier 5, a really cool tier 5, but I figured that, the reason it just gave for Ditto made a better choice. Otherwise, what was going to be my tier 4 if I didn't go with Ditto? I think it was going to be my secret tier 5. I was going to take a Bruxish instead of Sharpedo, and then a different tier 3, which I don't recall. But Sharpedo and Ditto is what I went with. And then my last mon, because I love to prove that I can use mons better than Carlos, I picked up Archeops. I'm teasing, obviously. He had Nihilego, then I picked it up and I used it much better. And I do plan to do that with Archeops. The reason I want Archeops is because Rock type is cool. Gives me a Rocker and a Defogger. And of course it has the Fetus, I know. But I think it's good. I think it's a good mon. Underrated, of course, if it does get into Fetus, it is kind of shit. I think, I don't remember its stats, but the fact that like all its offensive stats get cut in half is so shitty. But it's fine. It's fine. I'll make it work. So that's the team. Is it good? Who the fuck knows? I did think after. Wait, no, that was what the fuck was that? Sorry, I was just thinking about like when I was talking about like if I didn't go with those last 3, but then Golbat was somewhere in there. So then what the fuck was the tier 3? I was thinking about Golbat for a Defogger. It definitely would have been like a bulkier mon. But I was like, fuck it, I'll go Archeops. So yeah, I don't really have much else to say. There's definitely a very different style of draft. And I do have setup sweepers. I have what Mega Altaria sets up. Kartana usually doesn't set up, but oh boy, if there's a chance I get an SD up, I win it from that aspect. Zon DT is good at setting up. Yeah, it's very different. Not according to plan at all. Also, the 2 people who sniped me, were Rishmal and XRN, which are the 2 D-Leaguers that came up. So that's pretty triggering. And these fuckers think they can just come in here and take my picks. Like, alright, let's see how it is. I would not be surprised if, like, a week or 2 from now, I'm like, alright, I don't like this team. I need to make some trades and shit. But it's not my style, but I'm gonna try it out. First week, we're going up against Storm, and already I'm like, I don't really like my team against him, because he has a Cresselia, which means nothing on my team is one-shotting it. and that's kind of the point of my team. One-shot something, die, bring in something else, one-shot something, die, like... And also... Bitch, stop hogging all the speed. You have Jolteon, Crobat, and Swallow. Oh, he has a strange team. He has double fire in Entei Typhlosion, double flying in Crobat Swallow, which are both insanely fast, and he has Jolteon. So that's 130, 130, and then Swallow's like 125 or something. Like, bruh, the fuck. So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, that's it. Strange team. Let's fucking have fun.